Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to show you a cool deck that we will get as the next big deck in Master Duel after the Tearlament format has resolved. So the next big deck, of course, we are getting is the Ishizu Tearlament deck, but the deck was so strong that in the OCG, which is the Japanese format, and the TCG, the European American format, it was after a few months until a half year hit with bans on the ban list. In the TCG right now it's basically not played anymore, and in the OCG it's still the strongest deck, but not as strong as it was before. And then came the next contender, which at the moment is arguably the best deck in the TCG and also a strong deck in the OCG. The thing being that the OCG has already hit the Kashtira cards. I think they hit Fenrir and Unicorn, like the basic starters. So in the OCG, this deck is already weakened. So what I wanted to show you today is, as I also am playing the TCG, not only Master Duel, so I'm going to tournaments and playing the TCG here over on Dueling Nexus, a website that I already showed you and I can recommend because it's pretty fun. So I just wanted to give you a quick look at this deck because I think it's really cool, and we will get this in Master Duel. I think in like 6 months or so we could have this at full strength. I think like mechanic wise it's a really cool deck. I really like the artwork of the cards like Kashtira, Fenrir, Unicorn, or the boss monster Kashtira, a Rice art, which is pretty cool. So what I want to show you today is a little combo video, a little like deck profile, so that you can understand what this deck does, and maybe when it comes out in Master Duel you can say, okay, I want to pick this up, I have seen this on Tim's video, it's pretty cool. And then in the next days I have a little show match where I played a tournament preparation match here on Dueling Nexus with my Math Mech deck against Kashtira. So I just wanted to show you this deck beforehand so that you understand what you are seeing there. And please let me know in the comments if you like this kind of TCG content. I think it's really cool. The two formats are very different, so you can play a Master Duel format and then you can play a bit of TCG like I do, and I really enjoy it. But without further ado, let's start over and look at the deck in more detail. So what I got for you now is a replay of a Kashtira match I played. So I played against Sprite. That is not the important part right now. I just want to show you how this deck operates, how this deck works. And please note that I'm not a master in this deck. I know the basic lines, but I'm not like super skilled with it because I don't have it myself in paper form. It's pretty expensive. In the beginning it tended to cost around 1,000 euros to have this deck. It's cheaper right now, but yeah, let's start. So we have the field spell Pressured Planet Wraithsoft, and this is like tied to the whole Kashtira and Tearlaments theme, because the Tearlaments cards also have this this field spell, the Pearl Rhino. So in the anime or in the story, those are linked together, but don't ask me further details. I don't know that, I just know the connection. So this is basically your Kashtira search spell. This searches you a Kashtira monster, and then if you activate the effect of Kashtira Shangri-Ira, which we will see in a moment, then you can also destroy a card on the field. So that's the field spell, but the main use is to search a card. So we are searching the basic starter, which is Kashtira Unicorn. So for all Kashtira monsters, or not for all Kashtira monsters, but for the starters that are Unicorn and Fenrir, which we will see both, you already see Unicorn here, you have the effect that if you have no monsters on the field, you can special summon them, as they are normally level 7 monsters. So we're going to do that, special summon, and then activate the effect of Kashtira Unicorn, which allows us to, once per turn during our main phase, we can add one Kashtira spell from our deck to our hand. So we are adding, we are getting Ash here, but that's not a problem because the Kashtira spell you want to add is this one, Kashtira Theosis, where we already have it. So if you would not have this, you would add this Kashtira Theosis, but we will add another spell now, or would have added another spell, but we are negated. So Kashtira Theosis, this is the basic spell you want to search with Kashtira Unicorn. If you already have it, you can search Kashtira Birth, which is also a good spell for follow-up. So what does this do? You can target one Kashtira monster, and then you can special summon from the deck another Kashtira monster with a different attribute, so not a wind monster. So attribute, that's a thing here with the Kashtira archetype. Also, it's important to note that you gain 100 attack and defense for each different attribute on the field. So every Kashtira monster for each different attribute on the field, even on your opponent's field, they get 100 defense and attack. And this is a wind monster, and the next one we will see, the Fenrir, is I think an earth monster or maybe fire, I'm not quite sure. So we are going to activate this to search the next basic monster, our Kashtira Fenrir. So activate this, and now we are searching our Fenrir, which is Earth, as you can see right here. So Fenrir has the effect, like same as Unicorn. This is a monster searcher, where this is a spell or trap searcher. So this searches a Kashtira monster, and what I'm showing you right now is the basic combo. We are searching right now Kashtira Rise Heart. This is a level 4 monster, which has the effect that you can special summon it when you have a Kashtira monster on the field. So this we already have, and then it has another bonus effect, but we will come to this in a moment. So we are going to special summon this, and now we are going to make our first XYZ summon. We take the Fenrir and the Unicorn to overlay them for Shangri-Ira, which I already mentioned. If you activate the effect of Shangri-Ira, you can then destroy a card on the field if you have your pressured planet Wraithsoth. So Kashtira Shangri-Ira had a 0 attack and 3000 defense, and this is the monster, maybe you've already seen this, that is able to lock your opponent's zones. So this is able to lock the zones so that they cannot be used for cards. So in theory, and there is a possibility if you have the right cards in hand, you can lock at the first turn, at your turn, all his monster zones, so that if he is on his turn, he cannot use them anymore. And you can also lock all these zones so that when all 10 zones are locked, your opponent is basically out of playing the game. So whenever a card of your opponent that your opponent controls, that also counts for like cards from his deck, gets banished, the effect of Shangri-Ira activates, and then you can like close a zone. You can lock a zone every time that a card of your opponent is banished, and this happens pretty often in the Kashtira archetype, so that's why this works. Note also that you could have 2 Shangri-Iras, and then you can, every time something is banished, lock 2 zones, but we will see this in a moment. Also, this card is super crazy. In every standby phase, you can like special summon, I think it's a banished. Let me read this. Each time a card, well, you can choose one if they're gonna would be destroyed. During each standby phase, you can special summon 1 Kashtira monster from your deck. So every standby phase, you could special summon Kashtira Fenrir and Kashtira Unicorn. They also have more important effects, which I will mention in a moment. And also, while this has material, so this has 2 material right now, it cannot be destroyed by battle or card effect, but it can detach a material. So if you wanted to destroy this 3000 defense monster, you would have first like battle with it 2 times, or maybe target it with destruction 2 times to get rid of this. This is the reason that the Book of Eclipse, which flips everything face down on your opponent's field, is such a strong card against Kashtira, because it's super hard to destroy this if it's not flipped face down. So what we are doing next is we are going to activate the effect of Kashtira Rise Heart. Then this card, for the cost of 1 card from your deck being banished, will banish the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck, and then also become a level 7 monster for this turn. So right now this is level 4 monster, as you can see, and now we are going to banish 1 card. We will banish Big Bang, I will explain this in a moment. Then 3 cards will get banished, and I think now we get our first zone lock with Shangri-Ira, because cards have been banished. We are using the Kashtira Big Bang because if this gets banished, we can target one of our monsters, in this case the Shangri-Ira, and we can take one of these materials, get the material back to hand, and then special summon it. So what we will do in a moment, I think we will grab the Unicorn back from the Shangri-Ira as material, and then special summon it again, because we then can go into further plays. So let's see that. This can now, as you can see, this is chain link 1, this is chain link 2, so chain link 2, we will lock a zone because something got banished via the Rise Heart, and this now will get us the Unicorn back, which then we can special summon via the effect. So this is our board stand at the current moment. The next thing is that now we have a level 7 monster, or our Kashtira Rysart, which is now material, is a level 7 monster now, and now we can summon the boss monster of this archetype, the Kashtira Rysart. Normally, as you can see here, you would need 3 level 7 monsters, but it also says once per turn you can also XYZ summon Kashtira Rysart by using 1 Kashtira monster you control if an effect of Kashtira Shangri-Ira, this one here, was activated this turn. So because we activated this, we can now go into our Rysart with only 1 level 7 monster, which was our Kashtira Rysart, because it activated its effect. So this is the boss monster. This is basically a macrocosmos on legs. So as long as this is face up on the field, every card that would go to the graveyard will get banished. So that's super important to know. And also, once on every chain, this can attach 1 card out of the banish pile, either your banish pile or the opponent's banish pile, to this card as a material. And then also once per turn, quick effect, you can detach 3 materials. Notice we have 1 material right now, and then you can target 1 card on the field and banish it face down. So you can see now that these cards all work in tandem. So if this would, for example, banish a card face down, then this would again activate Shangri-Ira, which then could again lock another zone. And by the way, I said I would mention that now, Kashtira Unicorn and Fenrir also have bonus banish effects. When a monster effect is activated, you can activate Kashtira Unicorn's effect and then choose a look at your opponent's extra deck, which is pretty strong, and then choose 1 card that you can banish face down. And of course, this once again would trigger Shangri-Ira, also Kashtira Fenrir, which we saw before. Let's see, where is this? It's under here. So Kashtira Fenrir has the effect that when a monster effect is activated, same as Unicorn, that is the conditioning, then you can destroy 1 card on the field. So this one, when a monster effect is activated, can banish 1 monster from the extra deck, and the Fenrir can destroy a card on the field. So now we are going to continue our play. Like, it would have been cool, I wanted to show you another thing, but our hand was not good enough for this. If we would have gotten our Kashtira Birth, which then would have been able to revive 1 of our Kashtira monsters, which there were none in our grave or in our banished pile. But let's imagine we would have gotten another Kashtira monster here, because there's also another Kashtira level 7 monster that you can special summon, but we don't have it in hand right now. But let's imagine. Then you could also go into this card, which is number 89, Diabolus the Mind Hacker, and this card could then again activate its effect. Also look at the opponent's extra deck and banish 1 card out of the extra deck, and then this would again trigger the Kashtira Shangri-Ira. We would lock another zone, and then this could then again activate another effect, and once per turn banish as many cards as the opponent already has banished down from his deck. So in this case that would have been 4 or maybe 5, because we would have activated the first effect of Diabolus, and then we would have banished another 5, leaving us with 3 locked zones, or leaving the opponent with 3 locked zones. So that would have been optimal. There is also a line that is played in the TCG right now where you only summon the Rysart so that you are not weak to Lava Golem or Ra Sphere mode or other kinds of removal. But this is like the first line that people went to when this deck first came out. And there's also an option, but we don't have enough cards, or we didn't have enough cards in our starting hand, that you could lock every zone here, 5 zones in the first turn, and basically, yeah, so that your opponent cannot play the game. So let's see what our opponent does, so that I can show you a bit more of how the deck plays. So this effect is now the standby effect of Shangri-Ira, which now summons us a Kashtira monster from our deck. We will summon Fenrir, so we have the both of the effects, the destruction effect and the banish 1 from the extra deck effect of Unicorn and of Fenrir. That's why we are summoning Fenrir. So let's resume here. Our opponent activates this card, so I'm not quite sure what this does, but it doesn't really matter. We are going to ash this. This was a searcher, and now, because I only want to show you how these cards work, you could see that in this chain where we ashed this card, Kashtira Rysart activated, and we could attach 1 card out of the banished pile to our Rysart. So now we have 2 cards at our Rysart. Remember, if we have 3, we can detach them and banish 1 card on the field. So he plays his Bieber. We are going to imperm this. This would have searched another Bieber, and now I think we can activate Fenrir. No, because Ah yeah, okay, because this is another chain, we negated this. Because this is another chain, now we can attach one more material to the Arise Heart, and we can also, as you saw here with the chains, activate this effect and activate this effect. So we destroyed the Bieber on the field with the Fenrir, and now we can banish one card with the Unicorn. That happened here, we banished the Naturia Beast. This now, because a chain was activated, will grab another material. There is the material. And then, because this here... then I activated this effect to banish something, because I wanted to show you the full zone lock. But also we could activate the Shangri-Ira, because the Unicorn had banished one of the extra deck monsters. So this happens now, the zone lock from the Shangri-Ira. And now I banished this card here. Of course, you would not banish your own card, but I only wanted to show you how you can lock basically every zone. And then, once again, we can again activate Shangri-Ira to lock another zone. So we are able now to lock 2 zones. And this again, as you can see, because there was a new chain, can now again start to attach material from the extra deck. But remember, the detach 3 and banish 1 card is once per turn, so that we cannot do again this turn. Then right now I also activated, for some reason, doesn't make any sense, but I wanted to show you this, the effect of Planet Wraith Soft, because we activated a Shangri-Ira effect. We can now destroy 1 card on the field. I destroyed the Fenrir. Of course, you would never do this in a real game. I only wanted to show you what happens here. And because this was a new chain, we now can attach another card, like we always do. So he plays a card which I'm not quite sure what this does. He shuffles the hand and draws another card. Yes, and then sets a card and activate this to summon this, and it's our turn. So once again we are in the standby phase, and again we can activate the effect of Shangri-Ira. But before I do that, here in the standby phase, I first go and banish, detach 3 to banish 1 card on the field. I'm going to banish this, and yet we can again activate the effect of Shangri-Ira because something was banished, to lock another zone, because I really wanted to show you the zone lock. We are going to lock this zone, and because a new chain was created, once again we can attach something as material to our Arise Heart. Then again, because we activated the effect of Shangri-Ira, we can pop 1 card on the field. We are targeting the back row card, and this is gone now. And then, because this was another chain, this can then attach another card from the banish pile. As you can see, you can basically use the banish effect of Kashtira Arise at every turn, because you get so much material. But let's resume. Then we activate the effect of Shangri-Ira in the standby phase and summon a Fenrir from the deck. Like at this moment, notice I don't play optimal here. We use the Fenrir effect to search the Unicorn, which we now cannot special summon because we already have cards on the field. So I continue my plays here, I battle. Obviously I could have killed him with further lines, but I wanted to show you the full zone lock. And here once again, we will see that we can now, because this card was banished, lock the last zone. And there you can see it. This deck is able to lock all your opponent's zones, and also we could lock all these zones here in the back. But of course that's not necessary, because he can now only play spells and traps, and I think this is the moment where he scoops, he gives up. And that were basically like the basic combos I wanted to show you. Of course there are more, let me give you a sec. Yeah, there are more cards that play into this whole archetype and into the whole idea, like the Ogre or the Scarecrow Kashtira. This was the card I mentioned in the beginning when I said when we would have had this card, we could have gone for the Diabolis, because this can be special summoned from the hand. If you banish 1 Kashtira card from your hand or graveyard, so that would have been an option to extend our plays. We didn't have the card in the moment, so we couldn't do this. And another important card that I want to show you is Kashtira Birth, which is arguably one of the strongest cards in the whole deck. You can normal summon once per turn a level 7 monster without tribute, so you could like normal summon the Unicorn, normal summon the Scarecrow or the Ogre. This, by the way, can search you, I think, a trap card. Oh, that's right, I lied in the beginning. This can only search you a spell card, while Ogre can search you a trap card. So Birth has also the ability, and this is why this card is so strong, because it always allows you to get into place again on your next turn if you lost like all your board and you are left with your Birth. Because during your main phase, as it says, you can special summon one of your non-XYZ Kashtira monsters, so these here, that is banished, or in your graveyard. And because when the Arise side is on the field, everything gets banished, you will have monsters in your banished pile like Fenrir or Unicorn, and if you have then your Birth, you can revive them, get them back on field, and of course they can then activate their effect and search the monsters, the spells, or the traps. And so this deck is able to really grind through the game. It's I would not call it a control deck like Labyrinth as a control deck, but it has very much resources. It's a really strong deck, like the strongest deck arguably right now in the TCG. Of course there are other like nitty gritty things that like expert players of this deck know, but I really wanted to show you the basic lines and show you what this deck can do. For the moment we will get this in Master Duel, and also because I want to show you some games that I played against this deck with my MavMech deck for tournament practice. I hope you liked this video. Please let me know in the comment section if you like this kinds of TCG videos, or if you rather would see more Master Duel videos. I obviously will concentrate on Master Duel because this is like my strong point. But I would also love to do some TCG content on the side. Please let me know if you liked it. I'm happy that you were here with me. I hope you have a great day, and we will see each other in the next one.